Hello, I am Caman Humanities, and I will be taking you through the extraordinary life of Malcolm X. Malcolm X was born on May 19, 1925. His birth name was Malcolm Little. He lived in Omaha, Nebraska. His father was a Baptist preacher who advocated the black nationalist ideas of Marcus Garvey. The family left Omaha and moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, due to increasing threats from the Ku Klux Klan. In 1928, the family moved once again to Lansing, Michigan, finally settling. The same year, on November 7th, their house was burned to the ground. Malcolm strongly believed it was the white supremacist group. In 1931, Malcolm's dad died by being pushed off of a streetcar in the middle of the night. His left arm was crushed and his left leg was partially severed off. Malcolm believed that his dad was murdered by the Ku Klux Klan. In 1938, his mom was diagnosed as mentally ill, and she was sent to Kalamazoo State, where she would stay there for 26 years. After Malcolm's dad died, Malcolm went to crime. Soon, Malcolm was in jail. Jail was a huge eye-opener for young Malcolm. He made some decisions that would change his life. For example, he joined the Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam believed that Christianity was a white man's religion. Christianity was forced upon black people when they were slaves. The Nation of Islam read the Quran, worshiped Allah as their God, and accept Muhammad as their chief prophet. They have black pride and black nationalists, Malcolm said. The Nation of Islam attracted many followers, mainly from prison. This happened because it gave black people a place to go. Wallace Ford founded the Nation of Islam. Malcolm X was a Muslim African American that fought for racial equality. He stomped the streets of America with the thought that people of all races and all religions could walk as one on the same road. When Malcolm was released from prison, he was head minister of Boston, Moscow, Philadelphia, Moscow, and New York, Moscow. Malcolm X urged others to defend themselves against white segregation by any means necessary. Main goal for Malcolm X was equality amongst black and white. The goal was the same for Martin Luther King, but Malcolm X didn't mind violence as long as it helped people's cause and his. Malcolm X had some incredible speeches and made some incredible progress in the civil rights movement. One of Malcolm's most famous speeches is The Ballot or the Bullet. The Ballot or the Bullet was an amazing speech given by a pioneering civil rights activist, Malcolm X. The speech took place on April 3rd, 1964. It was read aloud at the Corey Methodist Church in Cleveland, Ohio. He made his speech in direct response to the foot-dragging of the Civil Rights Act. The reason behind the ballot or the bullet is that the Rights Act either came down to the ballot, which meant voting, or it came down to bullet, which meant you would put violence to get the rights that they deserve. The assassination of Malcolm X. 3 members of the Nation of Islam were tried and found guilty for the murder. Malcolm left the Nation of Islam on March 1964, which would cost him his life. On June 5th, 1964, Hoover sent the telegraph that stated to the FBI New York office simply and planned instructions which said, do something about Malcolm X and end his black violence in New York. One wonders what that something was. Is it possible that Malcolm X was killed by the FBI due to his huge foothold on the civil rights movement? The FBI's actions were either complemented or coordinated with the New York Department of Secret Services. The actions of the department on the day of Malcolm's assassination should be noted. Malcolm's rallies usually had 24 police officers at the front entrance and in the main vicinity. The day of Malcolm's assassination, there was only 2 police officers in the whole place, and they were not even stationed at the main entrance, but in a small room next to it. The investigation that followed his death was as careless as everything else. They did not even rope off the area for forensic scientists to analyze who could have done it, but instead they cleaned up the place for the ball they were having in the late afternoon. Bullet holes still in the wall.